Well, this one's going to be a long one. So, hello and welcome to the channel. This is your host, Patriot K. Eagle. And we're here to talk about another bill that was vetoed by Katie Hobbs. So, this is Arizona Bill HB 2046. Now, this is another bill that I've sent through ChatGPT. This is kind of a bit longer than some of the other ones we've done so far. So this bill is meant to amend and set guidelines and lay out instructions on how vote tabulations are to be verified and handled in Arizona elections of any kind. So the purpose of this law, again, run through ChatGPT because this is quite a long one, and even the summary is a bit long, a lot longer than Track 50. But honestly, Track 50 doesn't need to make the summaries that long when they also provide you the full text. So, purpose of the law, this statute establishes procedures for verifying electronic vote tabulations through mandatory hand counts in Arizona elections. It defines how hand counts are initiated, conducted, expanded, and verified, as well as how discrepancies are investigated. It also creates the Vote Count Verification Committee, which determines acceptable error margins between machines and hand counts. That's actually quite nice. Now, Section A, basic reconciliation, involves election judges must compare total votes recorded. Why am I saying votes as volts? I was just working on a machine, I guess. And the coworker of mine got electrocuted. Lightly, just got on the finger. Election judges must compare total votes recorded by tabulators with votes on the poll list and numbers of provisional ballots cast. The findings are documented in a written report and submitted with tally reports to the election officer. Now, Section B, mandatory hand counts. Every county-wide election, primary, special, general, or presidential preference, must include a post-election hand count audit conducted at secure facilities under supervision of the county officer in charge of elections. Observers from political parties may record the hand count but cannot interfere. Hand counts begin immediately after precincts are selected and must follow Secretary of State procedures in the official manual. The process is: number 1, precinct selection. Randomly select at least 2% of precincts or voting centers, minimum of 2. Selection is done by county political party chairs by lot, no computers, after unofficial results are public. Only polling place and in-person ballots are included. Early provisional write-in ballots are excluded. Number 2, races to be counted. Up to 5 contested races chosen by lot, including A, 1 statewide ballot measure, if any, B, 1 contested statewide office, C, 1 federal office, U.S. Senate or House, D, 1 state legislative race, E, additional contested races if needed to reach 4 total, F, if no contested race exists, no hand count is required. Number 3, presidential elections. Add the presidential race to the 4 categories above. 2% polling place or voting centers are randomly chosen. Number 4, selection of counters. Hand count workers, board members, are appointed by political parties. No more than 75% of counters may belong to the same party. The county must compensate workers excluding travel and lodge. Parties must provide names of participants by specific deadlines, usually within 1 to 2 weeks before Election Day. Disruptive participants can be removed. Sections C through E, margin of error escalation rules. The designated margin is a threshold percentage difference between hand and machine counts set by the Vote Count Verification Committee. 3-step escalation process. Number 1, initial hand count. If discrepancies are less than the designated margin, machine results stand. If discrepancies are equal to or exceed the margin, a second hand count is required. Number 2, second hand count. If still above the margin, expand the count to twice the number of the original precincts. Number 3, expanded count. If discrepancies persist beyond the margin, conduct a full hand count of that race within the jurisdiction. The process continues until 2 identically full counts are achieved, one of which becomes the official result. Section F. Early ballot manual audit. Early ballots are audited separately. Party representatives randomly select 1% of early ballots or 5,000, whichever is less. The same races from the in-person hand count are audited. If discrepancies meet or exceed the margin, repeat or expand the manual audit until results fall below the designated margin. Once within margin, machine tabulation is accepted for canvassing. Section G, I, Procedure and Timing. During early ballot hand counts, workers must determine voter intent where possible. County officers retain custody and security of all ballots. Hand counts begin within 24 hours of polls closing for precinct ballots or completion of early ballot tabulation. Results must be posted on both county and Secretary of State websites before canvassing. Section J, escrowed source code review. If a county-wide hand count is triggered, the Secretary of State must provide escrowed voting machine source code to the Superior Court. The court appoints a special master software expert to review code integrity. The expert must not be affiliated with vendors or candidates and must sign an NDA. A public report is issued to explain discrepancies. The Secretary of State may use this report to reassess voting system certification. Section K, Vote Count Verification Committee. Established in the Secretary of State's office to oversee audit standards. Key provisions. Number 1, composition. 7 members, no more than 3, from the same political party. Members must have expertise in mathematics, statistics, random selection systems, operations, or voting systems. Number 2, disqualifications cannot have ties or income from election equipment service providers within the last few years. Number 3, duties. Establish designated margins for comparing hand and machine counts. Review and revise margins every 2 years. Submit margins to the Secretary of State 10 days before each major election, who then publishes them publicly. Transparency and accountability. Committee is a public body subject to Arizona's open meeting and public records laws. Members serve unpaid but are reimbursed for expenses. Now, the overall use of this ensures audit integrity and transparency in Arizona elections by requiring random post-election hand counts of both in-person and early ballots. It establishes clear escalation protocols for discrepancies, introduces independent verification through technical experts, and reinforces bipartisan oversight throughout the process. The law aims to validate the accuracy of the electronic vote tabulation while maintaining public confidence in election outcomes. Now, if an AI can come to that conclusion without me telling it anything, why veto the law? Just because it was brought by a Republican member, introduced by one? Just because it improves the voting process so that you can't use messed up discrepancies or, say, pass a driver's license for all bill to essentially muddy your votes between your actual citizenry and foreign invaders. Why would you veto a bill that could validate the accuracy of electronic vote tabulations and maintain public confidence? I mean, wasn't that all they ever said? Is that like the machines never lie? So why are we doing things based on just what you say? Why can't we do or pass something that gives everybody on the other side of that argument who says that I don't believe the results, I don't think it's true, why not pass something that you can show and say we've done everything to validate the machines so that no one can use that argument. It could be because they don't want to validate the machines. It could be that they don't want to give confidence to anyone, because the only confidence they want is to seize the power before anyone can be able to react. Or it could just be that they just think it's not going to matter anymore. They just think that they're going to be in a position where before it's ever time to do this again, they're going to outright destroy the state. Well, it's not so much that it's happening here, because you've already had, if you're an Arizonan, a couple of years of Katie Hobbs so far. And yeah, she passed a few messed up bills, even repealed another one that would allow the murder of undeserving, unborn children of any gender. And, things of the like, trying to pass gun laws, trying to pass anything she can to further the dissent and stripping of citizen rights and giving more to people that don't pay into it unless they use stolen information, or unless they use children to get here, children that aren't theirs and that go to God knows where once they're here, and they don't care about what happens to them because, hey, they're already over the wall and it's not theirs. And to be honest, I would not want to live with people who use children to come here and get them taken away and not care about it because it's not theirs. But that's just what I think. It's just a weird thought that nobody wants to make things more secure and more believable and have more integrity, more transparency, and more discrepancy, unless they're trying to use it all to get away with what they want. Use the weakness of it to get away with what they want. But now it doesn't really matter, because we do, just like X was bought by Elon Musk, and turned into a platform of deranged but free speech. And the thing is, with free speech, you have to tolerate those that, well, let me change that. You don't have to tolerate them. If anything, you just can't allow the government to prosecute them. But we can personally prosecute them in the court of public opinion. And if you're not careful and you openly say very crazy things, like the people that celebrated the murder of a Christian man who did nothing to them, but want them to live a happy, better life and stop living under the boot of victimhood. The government didn't fire these people. Public opinion did. Not wanting to be associated with somebody who's openly excited for that did. And I think that's fair. None of these people have a right to a job. We don't have a right to a lot of things. We don't have a right to a driver's license. We don't. We have a privilege to one. But if we have to make it into a right, since we use identification of driver's licenses for our elections, we might have to make it a right to get them to further prevent the craziness trying to happen with these Democrat governors trying to give illegals a way to vote their way and maintain their grasp of power through people that have no repercussions from the things they vote for. And it's just not something I want to live in. But anyways, I don't know what you think, possibly like or dislike what I'm doing, and be Simon's one. I hope this recording doesn't get corrupted.
It did, a lot. Thank you for getting this far. It means a lot, and like I tried to say, please like, comment, and follow. See you on the next one.